What's up? Oh boy. All right. There we go. Hi everybody. I am back in the booth. New camera position. I got you can't see it, but a Kindle Paperwhite that I'm starting to use to read. It's like right here in my face. So I can just read it right here and caught in the mic here instead of kind of looking down here, you know. Plus I'm trying to see if this helps with eye fatigue. So I work in, my day job, I work in an office, and by the time I get in the booth at 8 p.m. at night, my eyes are done for the day. So, and then I got to come and stare at this computer screen, which I have set at like supposedly a reading setting, but still, like, that's not enough. So, I'm gonna see if this works for me. That's what it is. Every project, every book, I'm always trying to do. I'm always messing with something to try to make things a bit more efficient here in the booth. So, so I'm on a new project here. I am doing a book called Bite of the Fallen. It's the 4th book in a series, and this one is from the perspective of the love interest. My hair's doing a weird swoopy thing today. From the perspective of the love interest. Let's do this. It's bothering me. Named Night. And it's a vampire werewolf story. Obviously, there's a love triangle in there, of course. And it's written by Elizabeth Dunlap. And really fun to get this gig. She's been awesome with a lot of the prep work because I'm coming into the middle of a series. And I don't have the history. I didn't have time to read all the books. I was going to try to listen to the previous audiobooks, but I would be emulating, something another narrator did, and this takes place like 30 years in the future. So so I was like, I'm just gonna figured I would just go in and just kind of make it my own, I guess, for better or for worse, and we'll go from there. So Elizabeth's been awesome, and she's, so we'll see if this all works out, if it all pans out. But as long as I get the characters across properly how she envisioned them, that's my goal. So here I am. So like I said, I don't even know if this stuff helps. But it helps helps with my mouth get a little watery. I don't know. It's turning like a habit. But I don't know. It does help if my mouth is dry or whatever. Just a little thing of that, we're good to go. Because sometimes even if you drink water or hydrate, you still kind of have that dry feeling. All right, so enough of my yapping. We're gonna do this. I don't even know what the setup is. I'm just gonna read, and if you want to hear the rest of the story, grab the audiobook. Grab the series. So here we go. This is a new character coming in, and I'm trying to create a new voice for it. And I've been thinking about this, and it's like she's like a succubus, like a supposed to be like this very sexy woman, temptress, whatever. But she's also a scientist. So like I don't want her to be saying like this scientific stuff, like since the flora testing was negative. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna try to keep her voice a little kind of smoky, raspy, but I'm gonna try not to this part of the story have her be sexy. I don't know. Usually less is more. What I'm learning is less is more with this, especially with a man doing a female voice. So we'll see. I don't know. Here we go. And we're back over here. Preliminary testing suggests Tony started. Ugh. Science jargon. Can't she just say, "So I did the thing, and this is what I found out"? I realized I'd zoned out because she was talking about spore samples or something, like the dude was made from mushrooms. Since the flora testing was negative, I went instead to find out the age of the drone. Do a little clean up here. There's a little click. I need to redo this. Here we go. Oh, I gotta go back. Was negative. I went instead to finding. I went instead to finding out the age of the drone. He's been that way for 10 years. I'm gonna edit out my goofs real quick. I'm trying to edit as much as I go here for this one because I'm not paying for an editor because it's royalty share. I did one royalty share where I paid for the editing, and that's all kind of stuff that I'm juggling with. Because, you shell out this money and you hope that something's going to make money back. It's kind of a push and pull, and especially since I'm doing this part-time. If I was doing this full-time and I was able to kind of pump books out, I think I would just pay an editor and proofer and be done with it. It's a little trickier when this is a part-time thing for me, and I at least want to break even this year. But so I'm trying to kind of edit as I go, and then hopefully when I get this back from the proofer, as I'm fixing the things, I'll kind of clean up as I go if needed. So that's my plan of attack for this book, especially since it's a shorter one. It's a novella. All right. He's been that way for 10 years. So this drone is like it's like a vampire monster. I don't know. I would imagine similar to the crappy CGI ones in that Will Smith movie where he's the last one on Earth. I should know this because it's a remake of a classic film, but it is too late now. Total brain fart. I don't know why I can't think of it. All right, here we go. Lisbeth's forehead wrinkled in thought, and she passed the folder when Hades wiggled his fingers. In thought, and she passed the folder when Hades wiggled his fingers at her for it. Just had dinner, so I'm like, thought, and she passed the folder when wiggled in thought, and she passed the folder when Hades wiggled his fingers at her for it. Why 10 years? I'm gonna pause for a second because I hear our stupid air conditioner going. So what I did was I installed this this soundproof blanket, kind of like a moving blanket, and it helps kind of block that faint hum that normally I think won't come through here, especially with the post-processing and everything, but I just want to be sure because I want as little noise reduction and stuff as possible to keep it clean and keep it sounding natural as possible, but just this itty-bitty hum that drives me crazy. All right, here we go. Why 10 years ago? There wasn't a drone issue then. My best guess? Tony offered, shrugging. An experiment. The drone was imperfect. I conducted Imperfect. I conducted multiple tests. Was imperfect. I conducted multiple tests This is unlike any drone I have ever seen. So, Alistair's being all Frankenstein-y, I surmised, sneering at the thought. That's great. What if he starts going bigger than just one? Mm-hmm. Clean this up a little bit. I thought I heard a mouth smack as I was doing this, so I thought I heard it. Frankenstein. Like, ugh, splatter. So, Alistair is being all Frankenstein-y. There we go, fix that. Great. Great. That's great. What if he starts going bigger than just one? As soon as I said it, we collectively realized that he probably would. After all, last time he pulled all the stops when he turned... Last time... Excuse me. Don't mean to snort into the microphone. I forget it's on. Would. After all. They would. After all, last time he pulled all the stops when he... After all, last time he pulled all the stops when he turned an entire city into drones. He clearly had no reservations about mass turnings, and he'd had decades to plan his revenge on us. About mass turnings. And he'd had decades to plan his revenge on us. All because the born vampires had abandoned him centuries ago. If only we'd caught him sooner. Someone hadn't done his job well enough. A rage built in... Well enough. A rage built inside me, focused on the blue-eyed soldier standing at his post, whose gaze on me went from an almost... Figure where we are here in the story. The blue-eyed soldier standing at his post. Here we go. Inside of me, focused on the blue-eyed soldier standing at his post, whose gaze on me went from an almost smile to deadpan annoyance when he saw the look I was giving him. My fingers thrummed against the desk in front of me, and I waited for everyone to stop talking so the meeting would be over. Okay. I always want to make sure whenever I turn a page, because I'm not used to this thing yet. Apparently, I'm 31% done with this book. I think. Is that right? It can't be right. Maybe, actually, if it's a 3-hour book. As soon as Lisbeth... Lisbeth. We'll be over it. As soon as Lisbeth said meeting adjourned, I was out of my seat and across the room before she'd even gotten up. Too fast. Said it too fast. Said meeting adjourned. I was out of my seat and across the room before she'd even gotten up. Arthur's eyes stayed forward even when I stood, so... I'm getting ahead of myself here. Arthur's eyes stayed forward, even when I stood so close I could smell his cologne. And man, it smelled good. Damn it. Her office, now, I demanded, locking eyes with him. The humor in this is so random, but it makes me laugh. Locking eyes with him. I like that this book, what I like about it is, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, this character has a sarcastic sense of humor. And it's not this, like, Twilight, like, brooding, whatever. So it's kind of fun. Okay. Her office, now. Locking eyes with him. My fists clenched. I made my way to I keep wanting to say Lisbeth. Lisbeth's office. Fist clenched. I made my way to Lisbeth's office with Arthur on my... Arthur. Clenched. I made my way to Lisbeth's office with Arthur on my tail. She joined the line behind him. Damn it. Damn it. Can you hear me? My tail. Where am I? On my tail. She joined the line behind him almost immediately, yelling something to Kitty to make sure... Yelling something to Kitty to make her... Yelling something to Kitty to make her... Why do I keep... Immediately. Yelling something to Kitty to make her stay behind. Once I reached Lisbeth's office, I stopped at her desk, and even the little dancing flower on the wooden surface couldn't make me smile. I stopped at her desk. I gotta get that pronounced. Little dancing flower. At her desk. And even the little dancing flower on the wooden surface couldn't make me smile. What's this about, Knight? I'm gonna do a little better. What's this about? What's this about, Knight? What's this about, Knight? Arthur asked evenly. Evenly? Was I too? So evenly, he's like, what's this about, Knight? Yeah, I'll do that. You smile. What's this about, Knight? Arthur asked evenly. Lisbeth closed the door and stood in front of it. I could hear every breath she took, as if I was right beside. Okay. Hear every breath she took, as if I was right beside her. There we go. Excuse me, everybody. Beside her. That helped calm me just a smidge. I wished, more than ever, that I was a normal lichen, and I could just shift to show... Lichen. Normal lichen. And I can just shift to show everyone how ticked off I was. How ticked off I was. I'm ticked, man. I'm ticked. Off I was. Instead, I had to actually live with the rage. Become one with it. No matter... Become one with your anger, grasshopper. One with it. No amount of anger would let me hide behind fur and claws. Let's redo that. One with it. No amount of anger would let me hide behind fur and claws. 10 years. I ground out finally. 10 years. I ground out finally, opening and closing my fist. You had You had literally 10 years to look for Alistair. 10 years to look for Alistair. If that's in fact what you were actually doing. You, the hunter they all feared. The one who never missed his mark, who never came home empty-handed, was bested by a feeble old man. One that's going to come after us now. My F made a sound. So I'm going to do that over. Empty-handed, was bested by a feeble old man. I don't like how I said that. One that's going to come after us now. I'm annoyed. Man. One that's going to come after us now. I see. Throat noise. Dumb. I see. Too much like that. I see. I see. I see. It's my fault he's still out there, is that it? I see. It's my fault he's still out there, is that it? And yes. By the way, that's exactly what I was doing for most of those 10 years. His blasé attitude was enough to enrage me a second time. You could have prevented this if you'd done your job and caught him the first time, I accused bitterly. Lisbeth's sudden disapproval. Bitterly. Lisbeth's sudden disapproval of my words was like a smell in the air. I knew exactly what face she was making without turning around. Arthur let out a very small sigh. Gigantic for him. And you think blaming me for your inadequacies will make it better? For him. And you think blaming me for your inadequacies will make it better? I turned to him so quickly, Lisbeth jumped forward to make sure I wasn't about to tear his head off. Oh man, Arthur, you motherfucker, Arthur. You're pissing me off. I turned to him. Here we go. Where am I at? I turned on him so quickly. Lisbeth jumped forward to make sure I wasn't about to tear his head off. What the hell do you... Tear his head off? What the hell does that mean? You want to push me, icy breath? I yelled too loud, and then my leg clicked. Because I stand, I can't do this and sit down. I just can't. What the hell does that mean? Tear his head off. What the hell does that mean? Nah. Icy breath. What the hell does that mean? Too loud. I keep freaking clipping. If you keep clipping this. What the hell does that mean? You want to push me, icy breath? A muscle ticked in his jaw, and he watched Lisbeth put her hand in his jaw, and he watched Lisbeth put her hand on my chest to steady me. You say I'm to blame because I couldn't find him after a decade? I didn't see you helping. Was that because you didn't have any blood to do your little werewolf tracking parlor trick? Ah. Here we go. Excuse me, sorry. You helping? Was that because you didn't have any blood to do your little werewolf tracking parlor trick? Or maybe you didn't realize the ramifications of not even finding him until I was I'm adding words. Or maybe you didn't realize the ramifications of not finding him until it was staring you in the face. This frickin' the squeal. I hate it. It's the worst. I gotta figure out. It's next on my thing to, like, figure out. Okay. Yeah. The ramifications of not finding him until it was staring you in the face. Even after all that, the only indication of his anger was his hands clenched into fists. Okay, so interesting. So I was giving too much because Arthur is kind of a cool motherfucker. Here we go. Now I need to tone it back. Redo this and tone it back. I didn't see you helping. Was that because you didn't have any blood to do your little werewolf tracking parlor trick? Or maybe you didn't realize the ramifications of not finding him until it was staring you in the face. What is that? Or maybe you didn't realize the ramifications of not finding him until it was staring you in the face? Even after all that, the only indication of his anger was his hands clenched into fists. We glared at each other for much longer than necessary. Only Lisbeth by my side kept me from lunging at him and taking a chunk of him with me. I didn't. Here we go. I didn't. Him with me. I didn't. I swore under my breath and looked away. Damn him. Sometimes he knew me better than I knew myself. Why did this pissant get under my skin so much? I didn't volunteer because I knew about to say Lisbeth again. I didn't volunteer because I knew Lisbeth would come with me. I know, and I understand that. His fists relaxed. Back to normal Arthur. As if either of us can tell her what to do. He needs to be a little more snarky with that. As if either of us can tell her what to do. As if either of us can tell her what to do. We'll do that. As if either of us can tell her what to do. We shared a rare smile then, in respect for Our Lady. Standing right here, Lisbeth stated, waving her spare hand. The tension disappeared and Arthur loosened up just a bit. Lisbeth had that just a bit. Lisbeth. halfway through the like by the last chapter, I'll finally get it right, and I won't have to like pause so much. Lisbeth had that effect on both of us. He really did love her as much as I did. Whoa, whoa. Let me do that one. Need to soften it up. He really did love her as much as I did. Of us. He really did love her as much as I did. Night, he said calmly, his hands almost reaching out before he stopped himself. Smooth that out a bit. See, someone just slammed a door. He said calmly, his hands almost reaching out before he stopped himself. I know you well enough to understand that your anger is only because you know your family is in danger. We all are. We did everything we could to... We did everything we could. We all are. We did everything we could to prevent this. Lisbeth searched my eyes with hers, her fingers pressing into my skin. You know that, right? Was she talking? Okay, she's backing Arthur up here. You know that, right? I picked her pale white hand off my chest and... Chest? I picked her pale white hand off my chest and kissed every finger gently, only feeling slight shame that Arthur was watching. Let him watch. Yes, I do. And I'm sorry about the tirade. I'm just worried about my inadequacies, Arthur offered, like a cheeky git. Yes, thank you, that's perfect. I flipped him off and leaned against Lisbeth's desk. All right, there we go. I'm going to stop the recording right here. That is Bite of the Fallen. Wait, what do you do? Is that how you bow? Thanks for watching this. Me goof off for half hour in here. But this is fun. Like, I like doing this because I can kind of mess around with the characters and show you guys how my process. I don't know. I'm always constantly trying to think of better ways to, especially with characters, like better ways to kind of do the scene, try to get in the moment and acting. And you know, for better for worse, there you go. So I'll probably do one more of these before. This is a short novella, so I'll probably do one more of these before I'm done. Probably early next week, because I should have this done by next week. And off to the prover. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.